Good morning, all. First, I apologize that I can't meet. I think in my email last night I mentioned how intense this workshop is, and I actually do not, I don't have time to teach tonight, which sounds ridiculous. But we're going to use the hybridization part of the course, and you'll still have a meeting, and I will explain what you'll be doing tonight in the following presentation. So basically, you'll be going over, you'll use this presentation to go over collaboration. I will explain an activity you're going to do together to make sure you can all do the same things in a Google Doc. I'll talk about screencasting, and then I'll go over the assignments for this week. So let's first go over the learning outcomes. Theoretically, you're going to be posting in your blog and talking about cloud-based software this week. Practically, you're going to demonstrate the ability to both create and collaborate on a Google document. You are also going to be using screencasting software to both do still images from your computer screen and use those in the Google Doc. You're also going to be screencasting, much like exactly what I'm doing right now. I've got things on my screen and I'm recording my voice. Eventually, you will be creating comprehensive evidence of knowing these things and understanding these theoretical learning technologies and put them together in your final project. So let's start with collaboration. Here, I'd like you to start by opening up the chat pod in your Google Plus, and you are going to write in something, but you're not going to send it. So what I want you to do is type in the definition in your own words of collaborate in the chat pod, but don't send it. We're going to pause for about 30 seconds, and I'm going to let this video go while you have about 30 seconds to send. Go ahead and press send and look at the different definitions that come up in your chat pod. Did you have some of these words? It's very likely you did. This is a definition of collaborate, working jointly with others on an especially intellectual endeavor. I like that part. It does come from Latin, the past participle of collaborare, or to labor together. So that is basically what some of the cloud-based tools do. They allow for this ability to labor together or work on an intellectual endeavor. Think then of Sugata Mitra's hole in the wall and what that means for education. I have a quote here from Thomas Friedman, somebody I really enjoy, his book, The World is Flat. And it always keeps me thinking about the purpose of education and what we're preparing our students to be able to do. But I love the end of this quote, when the sun comes up, you better be running. So here's the activity I want you to work on tonight. You're going to be using a collaborative tool in your own Google Apps. I would like you to know that there is another product called Zoho. It's another tool. Actually, it has most of the actually has all the things Google Apps have and even more, including a very easy to use online database, which I think is fantastic. We won't be using it in this course, but I want you to know that there is a world out there besides Google. Adobe had a product called Adobe Air, which they are actually sunsetting in the next couple of weeks, but similarly it was a collaborative suite. They're replacing it with something even more expansive. I'm not quite sure what that is yet. But you'll be working in Google Docs, and you are going to be collaborating on a single document. You're going to be practicing making a folder and then sharing the folder, this is a great teaching tip because you can create one folder, share the one folder with multiple people, and then thereafter every document you put in that folder automatically gets shared with the same people. You get a little question as they go in. Do you want to share with the same folks? And you say yes. As a teacher, this is way easier than having every student share every document with every class member. So you'll be, as a group, making a shared folder, and this week you're going to be creating a document, each of you independently, but you're going to put it in a shared folder so one another can see it and comment on it. Finally, I want you to practice using the document link, finding the correct link and setting your visibility correctly. So that's going to be your activity. If you go into Blackboard, into this week's module, you will see one of the folders, like last week. There's a folder for each sort of tool. There is a Google Docs folder, and inside there is a single page how-to. It's got all the notes for how to do all of these things. You each might want to take a moment to log into Blackboard, go into the module for this week, go into the Google Docs folder, and print out or have on screen the directions for doing these things here listed on the page. So in a moment, you can find this. I'll also have this slideshow, and you can come back to these directions. This is what you'll be doing together as a team before this evening ends. Now I'm going to move on and talk about the assignment for the week. You are going to be screencasting. So if you have never played with screencasting software, this will be your first week and you'll be working on this alone. You are going to be teaching a web-based skill. Now I've put a comparison here. When you teach people using written directions, you have to describe things in steps. You have to use language and descriptions that would have universal meanings, and you can only use words. Now in screencasting, you can get everything in motion. You can describe it as the person is watching, and so you have a voice with images. Your assignment this week is a combination of these things. You are going to be screencasting, something you know how to do on the internet. You are going to be creating written directions, and you are going to describe everything in steps. The same skill you teach in screencasting, you're going to make a complementary how-to. And actually, if you want a good example of that, the thing I just asked you to print out is basically what you're going to be making. You are going to be putting pictures, still images that you can capture from screencasting. So this is a comparison and an overview of your assignment. So you'll be creating a screencast account and a YouTube channel. There's a reason for doing both of these. Screencast.com is a place where you can upload your videos that you create with Snagit, and YouTube is also a place where you can upload your videos that you create with Snagit. At Screencast.com, you have levels of privacy that far exceed YouTube. I'd like you to have this account so that you can later use it in other classes if you would like to record things that are more private. YouTube is where you're going to be uploading your Snagit screencasts for this class. They are meant to be more public. You can have a certain amount of privacy settings, but YouTube is meant to be a public, copyright-free place to share videos. Your YouTube channel is going to be really helpful later when you start building your e-portfolio or your final project, because those videos from YouTube and Google products work really, really seamlessly together. So that first step, you're going to create a screencast.com account and a YouTube channel. Now here's what you'll be doing. In 5 minutes or less, you will be creating a screencast of directions. And it needs to be something that can be done on the internet, although it can be something you can do on your computer if you'd like. That's also fine. But things on the internet can include social media, a tool, a search engine, or some special feature of, say, Google Documents or Zoho or something that you already use. I recommend that you script this out, rehearse it several times so that you don't have too many ums or cell phones ringing in the background. So this is the first part of your assignment. You will be reviewing videos about Snagit. TechSmith is the company that makes Snagit software. The code to get it cheaper is in the syllabus. Make sure you use it, and please tell me how much it ended up costing you. And finally, any of you who have a computer that's a Macintosh before operating system 10.7, TechSmith will not work. You have to have the newer operating system. And for this class, you can use Screencast-O-Matic because it will go to YouTube, but you're at a slight disadvantage because you're going to have to use the Mac to get your screenshots. Screencast-O-Matic doesn't do screenshots the way Snagit does. So contact me if you have more questions about that. But everybody, from what I remember about your computers, you should all be fine on the new version of TechSmith. To get your Google or your YouTube channel, here's some quick directions you can review later. You do have to do kind of a second login for YouTube to make it attach with your Laverne account. So come back to this slide later when you do this on your own. And then you have an optional assignment. In the full semester, I require this, but because we're moving at such a fast pace, I'm not going to require you to turn one in this week, but I'm going to highly recommend you mess around with one. Creating in the Google form is something that later in your final project, they're really helpful. So I want you to practice making a little quiz using Google Forms, and this would be the assignment here, and you can review this later. In your readings for this week, and if you have the optional Google textbook for the class, you'll see the directions there, or you can simply view the help directions for Google. Here's your blog topic. Cloudware, which is topical for the week, is software that allows people to build and manage applications in the online environment. There are often components of collaboration, and many products have something that is, there's something free, and then there are enhancements if you pay a small monthly fee to use the tools. So far, Google Plus or Picasa, Flickr, Snagit, these are all examples of Cloudware. You are going to be posting your reflections on Cloudware, so it's a little open-ended. I don't have prompt questions. I'd like you to reflect in 250 or more words what you think about Cloudware, and add some things about its personal use as well as its educational use. So, if you had questions, send them to me in an email or ask one another. I will have office hours Saturday if someone is totally lost. So look for that, and I will send a link for how anybody who'd like to meet with me can meet on Saturday, or we can all meet as a group. If I were with you, this would be your either or. So if you feel like sending me an email about your choice, and it doesn't have to be this bond if you have a different bond you like, but here it's bond or powers. So good luck to you. Again, I'm so sorry I can't meet with you this week. I will post this slideshow into Blackboard so that you can review it, and I hope you have a fantastic group meeting. We did lose Marisol also. It's like a person a week. We're now down to 4 course members. But don't worry, we're holding strong. Marisol couldn't get her financial aid set up, just like Andrea, so they'll be taking the class in the fall. Okay, all have a fantastic week.